guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rise. We're back here at Ed Morris Mazda in Port Richey, Florida, and guess what? This is one that many of you have been asking me for, so of course we like to deliver. It's a 2021 Mazda CX-5. This is that new for 2021 Carbon Edition. But before we dive into this special spec'd out compact SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So CX-5 has been around since 2013, if you could believe that. That is Mazda's compact competitor to go up against the likes of the Hyundai Tucson, the Toyota RAV4, and the Honda CR-V, just to name a few. Now, for 2021, they decided to keep the tweakings coming, and there's not just this Carbon Edition, but there's also something new on the inside, which I can't wait to show you and really showcase. Now, the crazy thing is, when you look at Mazda's lineup, this is their #1 selling vehicle. And it makes sense because it really is a great size. And to be honest with you, the looks compared to the competition, this one's really a looker. So let's go ahead, let's find out what makes the Carbon Edition so special. And let's see, is this the smaller SUV that you should be parking in your driveway to go up against the Honda CR-V and the Toyota RAV4 and the Hyundai Tucson? Let's go ahead and check it out. So right off the bat, that Polymetal Grey finish. It's like they could spill that color on any Mazda vehicle and it really goes super well with it. So I love the color, especially in the sun. With the CX-5, you're gonna get that same smaller headlight design, and I really dig that. I think that when you compare this to the CR-V, when you compare it to the RAV4, with the bigger headlight housing, it makes it look even more dated, to be honest with you. But this headlight style, looking great. You got that projector beam style headlight in there, a little bit of chrome trim, everything else blacked out. And then guess what? When we look at carbon, this is part of the Carbon Edition. So you have a black chrome trim. And I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, isn't Carbon Edition about carbon fiber? No. There's many different ways you could look at carbon buildup, carbon dating, carbon monoxide. But with this carbon trim, you're getting this special blacked out chrome. I like the way there's no fake vents, all nice and smooth. Little bit of black section here, nothing too obnoxious, and some flat black on the bottom. Now, as we come across that center grille, you could really see that with the Carbon Edition, how that black chrome just adds that little extra something that really just meshes well with the polymetal color here. You have a lower section that extends out, all flat black. Of course, this is gonna be functional. And you have this unique gloss black grille. I like the way they went with vertical slots rather than horizontal, but it's got a nice flow to it, that Mazda logo there. So much history, so much technology. And it's a shame, you know, it's like Mazda, when I think of Mazda, I think of rotary engine, but you know what I am thinking of Mazda, especially today, is their style, and it's spot on sexy. Now, when we get up onto the hood, I like the way the hood meets with the front fascia. You're just gonna have two simple body lines. They just rise up, go towards the A-pillars, that's it. Even for our compact SUV, the way that the hood kind of slopes down gives it a nice aerodynamic look, but also makes it look sleek on top of it compared to a Tucson or a CR-V or even a RAV4. Now, when we come around the bend, what are we working with? Just a little bit of flat black. It's not as high as the CX-30. CX-30, they kind of take it up the whole fender, keep it nice and tidy. Carbon Edition, you're gonna get this multi-spoke gloss black wheel. Love this style. It's a 19-inch wheel, works well with the color, and it just has the right amount of space between the top of the tire, inside the fender, 225 on the width, all four corners, and we have a front wheel drive example. You can get all wheel drive, which makes this even extra special, especially for those living in the colder regions of the country or the world where it snows. We don't have to worry about that in Florida. We just worry about sweat and rain. Now, as we go down the side, super smooth. You have that nice body line that comes off the fender, goes down the belt line. Gloss black on your mirror caps. Just a little bit of shiny metal work along the bottom, kind of flares out as you get to that rear quarter window, almost like a hockey stick, you know? Color matched on the shark fin antenna. I like the way they don't put roof rails. It doesn't look blocky, it doesn't look bulky, nice and sleek. A little bit of flat black along the bottom, kind of ties it all in. And then as we work towards our rear, low roof spoiler, like the aerodynamic extensions. Really, really love the taillight design. Now, what's interesting is that there hasn't been a redesign on the CX-5 for a couple years now, but it's still fresh, and I like that. You got your LED lights. I love the way it extends off the back. You got your CX-5 badge, the Mazda logo. Not too crazy. Loving on the rear glass wiper. I wish that they would tuck that in, but other than that, looks really clean. And then when we drop down, one of my favorite parts, no fake exhaust. We have one exhaust tip on each side, a nice round aluminum tip. Super smooth, super simple, and I think that's where they knock it out of the park. But let's pop the hood and see what's powering our CX-5 Carbon Edition. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on the CX-5. I am gonna zonk the prop rod. They kind of, just to make it worse, put it right in your way. They should move it over to the passenger side. Underneath the hood, though, is that tried and true 2.5 liter inline-4 naturally aspirated engine. You can get turbocharged as well. Now, with the 2.5 naturally aspirated engine, you're looking at 187 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque. It's all going to be mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Our example is front-wheel drive, but you can get all-wheel drive. The vehicle weighs around 3,500 pounds. And if you're wondering, well, what can I tow with this vehicle? You're looking at about 2,000 pounds worth of towing capability that you could do with this CX-5. And when it comes to MPGs, you're actually not going to do too shabby. 25 in the city, 31 on the highway. I think the thing that I like, especially compared to some of the competitors, say like the Rogue, is that you don't have a CVT transmission. You got a nice traditional 6-speed automatic transmission. And then you have a plethora of different options from a turbocharged engine or also all-wheel drive. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see, first of all, what are some new things for 2021? And second of all, what else does the Carbon Edition bring to the table? All right, guys, we're inside the 2021 CX-5 Carbon Edition. I know you're at that point where you're like, Joe, I'm actually glad that you did this particular Carbon Edition. I don't need a turbocharged engine. I don't need all-wheel drive, but boy, oh boy, do I need this CX-5. I don't want to go with a CRV, too bland, too boring. The Toyota RAV4 just isn't me. I'm liking this. How much is it? So MSRP, the way that you see this one option, you're looking right at $30,000. Let's see what you're getting for the money. Now, what I love about Mazda is you don't have to go to a premium brand to get premium materials and interior. All soft touch material up top, the stitch work. Look at in the center there, that center armrest with the red contrast stitching. Super clean. It's got the Bose sound system and a large pocket down there where you could easily put a whole giant turkey leg. Like when you go to the medieval fair, they gave you a turkey leg. You can just slap it right in there, and a bottle of milk to wash it all down. When you come to the dash, same thing. Soft touch material, the stitch work. I'm loving this. I want to call it faux carbon fiber, but I know it's not trying to be carbon fiber, but it looks really, really good. Super smooth. The brushed aluminum, the way they work the AC vents. What's new for 2021 is that guy right there. So that is a 10.2-inch infotainment system screen. That's up from 7 inches. So talk about growing in size. The only zonk that I know you guys are going to put in the comment section is no touchscreen. You could touch it, it just doesn't do anything, but it's a great size, and it doesn't sit too high to where it blocks any of your view. I'm going to throw it into reverse. There's your backup camera, no trajectory, and I wish that it actually filled up more of the screen. So that's going to be my other zonk, but other than that, they did upgrade the camera quality, so it's a lot clearer. I could actually read the license plate number 26Y14B, B as in boy, or B as in Bravo. Put it back in the park. Now to operate this, you're actually going to use this drive control knob, and it's real easy to figure out. You got navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You find whatever you want, like you want to go into settings, you just push down, and there you go. And now you can just spin through a bunch of stuff. Go into your vehicle settings. Easy peasy to figure it out. You just can't touch the screen, and I know that that's a hang up for some people. Now, as you work your way down, you got your start-stop button. You got heated seats, but no ventilated seats. I'm not going to zonk that at that price point. You do have dual climate control, and what I love is the feel of the knobs. Nice quality. These are things that you're going to touch on a regular basis, so you want them to feel good. You have a 12 volt, which is nice. Close that up. You got your Twinkie tray, easily 6 Twinkies, and you're not going to get any cream anywhere, I promise. You do have some gloss black, just a little bit. I love the leather shift boot, the red stitching. This is going to control that 6-speed automatic transmission. You do have your sport mode for that transmission to behave just a little bit differently when you put it into sport mode. Even the way they did the red stitching, that's the quality. You don't have to go to a premium brand. They bring it to you right here at Mazda. You got your 2 cup holders, and you could get your bigger drinks in there. There's your Mazda key fob, standard key fob from Mazda now. Looking good, looking slick. Soft on the armrest with the stitching, and then you open this up, look what you have. A felt-lined party tray. So you're not gonna scratch your peanuts by putting it here. Nobody likes scratch nuts. You got 12 volt, 2 USBs, and enough room for about, I'd say 8 Milky Ways you could drop in there. Maybe if you're lucky, you might see the galaxy next to you by dropping all those Milky Ways in there. Hopefully no black holes. We don't want to see that. But I do love the seats. The nice red. It's a dark cherry red, perforated. Feels phenomenal. The stitch work, everything is great. On the side, you have your electric seat controls, which is wonderful. I got plenty of headroom. And the great news is that you get a standard size sunroof, and you have a lighter headliner, which makes it a little bit more like breezy, like airy in here. Plenty of headroom, feeling good. Come over to the business end though, I want to show you behind the wheel of this 2021 Mazda CX-5. All right guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have your seat controls, which are easy to get to. Very nice. Of course, you're gonna be able to have your memory seat settings, 2 separate settings. That's easy to get to as well, and you can let somebody borrow your CX-5. Overall, like I said, seats are comfy. Steering wheel, Mazda does a great steering wheel, especially the way they brought the red. The red contrast stitching, like a baseball all the way around, really matches all the rest of the red in here. Tasteful on the horn button, flat black on the buttons, little bit of brush trim, no paddles though. Some people might want the paddles, so that's up to you if you're gonna zonk it or not. You got all the safety features, of course, and the dash is clean and straightforward. You got an analog speedometer, analog tachometer, and then you have that digital display over to the right. Very straightforward, really doesn't need to be anything else than that. And it just allows you to just feel comfortable, where you don't have to chase through a bunch of screens and stuff. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the back seat and see how your passengers are gonna like the CX-5 Carbon Edition. All right guys, backseat time, and you know what? What's great about the CX-5 is that everybody from the front to the back is gonna have the same amount of headroom. They did a really great job with that. This red interior just, I'm telling you, elevates the whole feel, fit, and finish. Backs of the seats covered all the way around like a nice cherry on the top of your Sundae. You could go ahead and put a mirror back here, put some books, maybe put the history of the color red. Where did that color originate from? I have no idea, but you could put the book back here. You do have 2 AC vents with a little bit of brushed aluminum trim around there, which is nice. And then like I was saying, overall, the amount of leg space is great. We could flip down the armrests. Semi-soft, but I'll show you in a second why. You have a Slim Jim or a Twizzler holder, 2 cup holders. Open this up, 2 USBs, and some felt lining. So if you have a Rolex and you don't know where to put it, you could put the Rolex in here. Or maybe if you have an iPhone 47 that's gold plated, you could put it in here. It's not gonna get scratched because you got your 2 charging ports right there. Close that up, spin it back. Feeling good? Let's go ahead and check out that cargo area and see what we could haul in our CX-5. All right guys, obviously a lot of people go after an SUV because they want that usable cargo space. When you go Carbon Edition, what's wonderful, it's not just about the interior, like how fancy it looks, not just about the style on the outside, but you're also getting a power assist rear hatch. You just push the button, goes up nicely. And what I love about the CX-5 is just how much space is between the cargo floor and the inside of the headliner area. With the seats up, you're looking at almost 31 cubic feet of space. You flip those seats down, guess what? You're looking at almost 60 cubic feet of space. What I think is so smart that Mazda does is, first of all, they give you a power source. So you have a 12 volt over here for camping, for going to the beach, or maybe if you just want to stick your finger in there and shock yourself, you could do that. But we'll close that up. I love these handles. Watch this. Boom. Folds right down. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Make a bunch of lemonade, make a jug of lemonade. And then that folds down nicely. So that will go down very easily. And then of course you're gonna get a good size spare. Nice to still see that. So many brands are getting rid of spares. But you know what? Let's go ahead. If you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Hit that little guy right there. let's go and take the CX-5 Carbon Edition for a spin. Guys, we left Ed Morris Mazda. We're in the 2021 CX-5 Carbon Edition. One thing I always want to bring up is that if you go to Ed Morris Mazda and you let them know that you saw the review that brought you in on Raiti's Rides, they will take an additional $500 off the price of the vehicle, and that's on top of all the other rebates and incentives and everything else. But sitting in this CX-5, it just reminds me why I like it so much compared to the competition. The seats are so supportive without being squishy. It's not all weird inside. You know, a lot of the interiors are, I guess they're trying to be futuristic and whatnot, and it just gets a little out of control. This, even though it's not brand new, it has that overall great feeling to it that feels like it's super fresh. I think a lot of it has to do with the new infotainment system screen. The steering wheel, great thickness. It is tilting and telescoping, which is wonderful. And visibility is great in here too. Nice size on the side mirrors. Your rear view mirror, we have an auto dimming rear view mirror, which is great. Not frameless, but you know what? At this price point, $30,000, you're getting a lot of tech and definitely a lot of style for the money, which is wonderful. All right, guys, I want to do a little on-throttle acceleration test. We do have it in sport mode from a dead stop on throttle. Brakes traction just a little bit, but you know what? Shifts very, very smoothly, and you get up to speed not too bad. You know, considering it is not turbocharged, you're looking at a 0 to 60 in around 7.8 seconds. You go turbo, you're definitely going to drop that big time because you're going to be looking at 250 horsepower compared to the 187 that we have. But when you look at the competition, those numbers are right in alignment, especially when it comes to overall horsepower. Gauges, like I said, easy to read, easy to understand. I like the way it's digital on the far right, and it is in a perfect circle shape to take up that space. I'm glad they didn't like square it off or make it weird. It's interesting that they didn't make the infotainment system screen touchscreen, because you could reach to it without actually having to stretch very far, and it would have been perfect. But you know what? Like I said, you got that direct drive control knob that is very easy to use and has a wonderful feel to it, which is great. And then on top of that, you're going to get some nice clear sound from that Bose sound system. But one thing you need to remember with this CX-5, Mazda likes to engineer vehicles to be driven by people who enjoy driving, and that's what you're going to find in this vehicle, especially when you compare it to the competition. It has great feedback to the steering wheel. Steering wheel is a perfect size, looks great, feels good. I don't know what else you could ask for, to be honest with you, besides more horsepower, which you could have. Just depends on what price point you want to be at. All right, guys, once again, on throttle. Look at how nice the CX-5 handles, even being front wheel drive, really communicates well. And the 6-speed, I know a lot of people, and hey, put this in the comments, you know, put how you feel in the comments. It's got a 6-speed automatic. A lot of people were saying it needs to be 8, needs to be 10. I don't know. I feel like the gearing for each of the gears is spot on the money. Do you think it needs a 10-speed? Put that in the comment section. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what the CX-5, especially the Carbon Edition, is all about. If I was to get a CX-5, it definitely would be the Carbon Edition trim. I would personally want the turbo, but you know what? If you're looking at the bottom line, you're still getting a lot of car for the money, which is fantastic. But and a good-looking car, good-looking SUV. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Ed Morris Mazda and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day here at Ed Morris Mazda in Port Richey, Florida. I definitely got to thank Quentin, Brian, Bill, and the rest of the crew, not only getting us a CX-5, remember, it's the top-selling Mazda vehicle currently, but also this new Carbon Edition. It really shows that if you want a compact SUV, you can have that style, and you definitely can get that premium feel. And really, when comparing this to the CR-V, the RAV4, or the Tucson, I think the CX-5 really wins hands down. But if it's vehicles like these that you want to keep seeing on Raiti's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making this great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Raiti's Rides merch. Got to give it up to the wonderful queen of the camera. She's going to be winning so many awards this year from YouTube for all of her great camera work. Give her some love, show her some love in that comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.